Hola, hola, hola. Hello, beloveds. I am Sunshine Day, your spiritual living coach, and welcome to A Spiritual Remedy. At A Spiritual Remedy, we focus on those who are in recovery, those who are free from those intoxicants, those things that are addicting, and who are really searching for a better way of living. Those who are willing to grow along spiritual lines. And so, what I get an opportunity to do is to provide spiritual tools and loving support for your personal transformation. And even though my show is geared towards those in recovery, you do not have to be in recovery to benefit from these spiritual tools that I provide. And especially, you don't need to be in recovery to receive the loving support that I provide as your spiritual living coach. Welcome to March 1st. Here we are in the third month of 2021, and it is indeed an opportunity for us to really grasp our lives and really consciously make those necessary changes so that we're living our best life. You see, I see a world where clean and sober people are living their best life and loving it, where you're not living a life of default, but that you are living a life of design, that you actually design your life. Good morning, Bertha. So glad to have you here with us. And I too, you know what? I bless you, and I bless technology that gives me the opportunity to share who I am and to share the love that I have for humanity and the love that I have for providing these spiritual tools and the loving support so that others can experience the freedom and the joy and the power of their lives. You know, I was reading something that was sent to me today, and I'm going to use this as a segue into our monthly theme of Imagine. And the writer, Scott, writes, "It is impossible for you to receive that which your mind refuses to accept. If you desire to receive more, you must mentally encompass it. So it's an impossibility for you to receive what your mind cannot conceive." I mean, we've heard that before. And that's why I wanted to really take a look at our path in 2021. We started off the beginning of the year gaining clarity, right? We were gaining clarity in the beginning so that um, we could see where our life could be. Like, let me get clear from these intoxicants, whether it's stress, depression, those things, doubt, fear, anxiety, anger. We wanted to really be clear of the kind of life that we wanted, right? And um and from there we moved into really forming habits. Last month you had an opportunity every day to start off drinking a glass of water, right? You drank a glass of water in the morning, you said an affirmation, you stretched, you surrendered. And hopefully you've been continuing that behavior, because what happens is that people, you start something off and you start off for a little bit, but because you don't get the instant gratification, right? That's what addiction is. Addiction is that instant gratification. It's got to feel good to me right now. And we make these associations with things. That's why folks don't necessarily go to the gym all the time. This is like, who wants to be in pain, or who wants to do those kinds of things? But when we think about that, the gratification comes later, when we're healthy, when we've lived years and years of this way, that we actually feel great about ourselves. So we cannot achieve what we cannot conceive. And that's why for the month of March, as we take a look at Imagine, let's take a look at, just in starting us off, the word imagine and what it means. Imagine is to form a mental image or concept of, to form a mental image or concept of. And so when we think of imagine, a lot of telemarketers, a lot of people who want to sell you stuff, they want to say to you, hey, can you imagine if you could go anywhere in the world? People who sell you timeshares, if you could go anywhere in the world, where would you go? And they have you move into this place of seeing yourself skiing, if you like the cold, and being on a sandy beach with clear water where you can see your toes. Like, all of a sudden they put you in this state, or they invite you to go into this mental state of seeing it as if it were true. And then, of course, then they say, hey, you can go there. You just buy this timeshare, or, hey, if you want to lose weight, see yourself losing weight, right? And then buy this stuff. However, what I am, quote unquote, selling you is not stuff. What I am saying to you is that the proper use of imagine and your imagination is to begin to see yourself as the person who is clean and sober, healthy eater, lives, outright and fully all the time. That you see yourself as a person of substance, as a person who is generous. And when you are generous, it's because you have, right? And so my thing definitely is like, I see myself as a generous person. I see myself as someone who has so much that I have enough to share and to spare. And that's really one of the reasons why, I come on Monday mornings, because I have been given so much that it is important for me to begin to share these spiritual tools and the loving support so that others awaken to their spiritual magnificence. Imagine imagine for a moment, watching our friends, our neighbors, people that we care about, people that we don't even know, our neighbors in the world, awakening to their spiritual magnificence. What might the world look like if clean and sober people, if people who stepped away from the fear, the doubt, the addiction, the stress, the unhealthy foods, what would the world look like if we were actually living healthy lives and living our best life and loving it? Like, I can imagine that would be an amazing place to live. And so as I contribute to that vision, to that vista, it's my absolute joy to do so. I want to read a quote out of the book Begin Within, right? So here we go. Begin Within, Playbook for Living Your Genuine Life. It's the book that we are using each and every month. I'll start off first with the affirmations for the month. The affirmations for the month is this cool picture that you tear out of the book and then you post somewhere where you can see it on a daily basis. And right off the top, it says, all my good is already given, and I joyfully accept it now. All my good is already given, and I joyfully accept it now. I use my imagination to recognize my wholeness, and I see and believe I am whole now. Today, I imagine peace within my mind's eye, and I see it with my physical eye. I allow my sensations to carry me through to success. So again, the practice, so we're going to begin practicing imagining and seeing ourselves in the state in which we want to be. Okay, so that's going to be the deal. But I want to read a quote. The quote is, winners, I am convinced, imagine their dreams first. They want it with all their hearts and expect it to come true. Right? He's not done. This is by John Keats. There is, I believe, no other way to live. That one actually was Joe Montana. Winners, I'm convinced, imagine their dreams first. They want it with all their hearts and expect it to come true. There is, I believe, no other way. Now, Joe Montana, as many of you may or may not know, is a football player, and so when he's talking about winning, I remember playing softball. I remember, being at the batter's box, and I would take a look into the field and think about and imagine where I wanted the ball to go. And then I would just really focus. I would focus on watching that ball come in and my swing connecting with that ball and it going directly in the gap. Now that's the interesting thing about imagine and imagination. And I'm going to talk to you about that in just another moment. I want to read the quote by John Keats. My imagination is a monastery and I am its monk. My imagination is my monastery and I am its monk. Now, going back to playing softball and imagining the ball going someplace. Here's the deal, is that I had to look for where the gaps were, where there were no players, so that when my ball fell in that spot, I could safely get to first or second base or even further, right? So I needed to look for where I wanted the ball to go, not where I didn't want the ball to go. So I didn't look to see where the players were as much as I focused on where the players were not, because that's where I wanted to go. And that's the thing about imagination is that we have to, we don't have to, we have the opportunity. We have the opportunity to imagine exactly what it is that we want to experience. What is it that I want to experience? Not what I don't want to experience. It's kind of like the person who says to you, hey, what do you want for your birthday? Oh, well, I don't want a tie anymore, or please don't get me anything for the kitchen. That wasn't the question. The question was, what do you want? Not what you don't want. And so I love John Keats' quote, my imagination is my monastery. And when we think about a monastery, take a moment to see a monastery. This is this place of sacredness, right? This place of quietude. This monastery is this place of wholeness, of peace, of calm, of serenity. And I am its monk. So in other words, my imagination is this sacred place, and I am the one in charge of it. I am the one who cares for it. As a monk, I care for the grounds. I care for, the seating. I care for all of it. I dwell in this place, and I ensure that this place stays sacred. And so can you imagine your imagination being this monastery? And for you to dwell there, for you to hang out there in your imagination, because if you cannot see it, you cannot achieve it. If you cannot dream it up and believe it, it's not going to happen for you. Think about how you have planned a trip. I get to travel lots. And when I plan my vacations and I actually can imagine myself on the beach, a nice, pineapple beverage. I can see the water. It's calm, it's warm. I can see myself snorkeling, just swimming, just frolicking in the water. I can see these little cabanas off to the side and me getting a massage on the beach in one of the cabanas. Like, that all takes imagination. It is all about an image. So what is the image that I am putting forth on the projector of my mind, on the screen of my mind? Where is it that I'm seeing myself? Am I seeing myself as a practicing alcoholic or drug addict, or someone who is not compliant with my food choices? Am I seeing myself as an athlete, as someone healthy, someone jogging or doing yoga? Am I seeing myself as just someone laying on the couch, flipping through the channels? It begins with our imagination. When we're experiencing despair, it's an important time to switch right there. It's an important time to use your imagination and begin to see yourself and imagine yourself getting through to the other side, having the resources and resolving situations. It's an opportunity to recognize that within you that there's a power and presence and life itself, that life force that is living you, that is projecting onto the screen of your mind that which is for your highest good if you choose to hang out there. Now, I know that many of us, especially those of us in recovery, for a long time, maybe as children, our dreams had been smashed, or we've been told that, to have an imagination was silly, and we may have been laughed at, or we may have had dreams and aspirations of becoming something that as adults we have not become. And I'm here to let you know that just because it didn't happen then doesn't mean that you should put your imagination to the side and not ever use it again. Some of the greatest technology has been used and has been achieved because people have dared to imagine. I'm inviting you this month to not only continue to slow down, be still, be silent, and really tap into that indwelling presence that is right where you are. I'm also inviting you to drink your water on a daily basis, the first thing you do when you wake up, to affirm your highest and your best, to surrender to the adventures of the day, to surrender to the highest and best that God has for you, which is really your higher self, right? And to stretch so that this way, as we begin to tap on what we've learned in January and in February, that now, because we've incorporated those things, that now we can imagine. Now, if you're hanging out with us today, here's what I'm inviting you to do. Type into the chat what it is that you imagine about yourself, about your own process of recovery, around your own spiritual growth. Because here's the thing, is that you must be willing to grow along spiritual lines. And as I've said before, for me, the word spiritual means life affirming. So you must be willing to grow along life affirming lines. That which affirms your life, not which takes away from you. And so utilizing our power to imagine, we can begin to see ourselves the way we want to be in the not too distant future. Now, in just a couple of minutes, I'm going to lead us through a guided imagery where you'll have an opportunity to imagine yourself. And you'll have this opportunity to begin to see yourself maybe in ways that you've never seen yourself before. As we do this, The invitation is to really allow yourself to go there. That even though some doubt and fear may enter your thought process, that you allow it to leave your thought mind, and that you allow it to drop into into your mind, body, and soul, into that. Bertha says, I imagine fluidity of movement and right proportion. We're going to imagine that, and we're going to see that with you today, Bertha. Thank you so much for being such a generous contributor to our show this morning. So here we go. Find a spot where you can just be still. This is the place where we slow down, where we're still and silent. The invitation is to notice your breath. And notice how you don't have to breathe consciously, that it is what you do. It is part of your living that you breathe. It is part of your living that your heart beats. It is part of your living that the blood courses through your veins. And bring to your mind's sight an image of your ideal self. That self that is sober, meaning right mind, clear-minded. That self that is healthy. That self that has a healthy mind, a healthy body, healthy emotions, healthy relationships. See yourself being so fluid, so flexible, moving so freely. See that you're making all the great choices, all the life-affirming choices for your body type, for your mental health, for your spiritual health. See yourself walking one of your favorite places. And as you're walking in your favorite scene, just begin to recognize how your feet are moving, how your ankles and your legs support and carry your body. See them all the correct proportion for your body type, that you have just enough muscle, that the shape, that the size of your legs, of your thighs, of your hips, of your torso, of your arms, of your neck, of your head, that it's still you. It's a healthy you. Flexible, moving, walking, having your beingness. Actually see a smile upon your face. See yourself loving your physical body. See yourself loving your mental state. See yourself loving the spiritual activities that you engage in that bring you to this point. How good it is as you smile to recognize and to see yourself in a healthy physical state, in a healthy mental state, in a healthy spiritual state, in a healthy emotional state, in a healthy financial state, in a loving state of beingness all around. See yourself in a sober state. In a state of abstinence from those things that hurt you. And now that you see yourself there, feel yourself in your body. And there's a bridge. There's a very short bridge that gets you from who you are right now to feeling that. And it all is relying upon your decisions and choices. So as you continue to see yourself there, that's who I am. I'm going to invite you to gently open your eyes. And as you're looking at me, as you gently open your eyes and as you see me, hear that as you begin to imagine yourself and begin to change your identity and see yourself as this person that you've imagined, that is the first step necessary to actually being that individual, that person that you saw and that you experienced. Each and every day, begin to take a few moments to see yourself as that person. See that as your new identity. And on a daily basis, begin to make the choices and the decisions that get you there. In his book, Atomic Habits, the writer says that it's important to change your perspective as to who you see yourself as. And that when you see yourself as a person you imagine and you do that on a daily basis, you begin to become that. And so until next Monday, continue what we learned in January and in February, and now we're adding this portion of imagining and seeing ourselves living our best life. I look forward to hearing from all of you what it is that you've accomplished in the 1 week. Happy first day of March. Know that I am here to support you and to guide you and to continue to provide spiritual tools for your personal transformation. Until next Monday, be well. Bye for now.
Celebrate life. You celebrate your life. Celebrate the memories, the birds and the trees, the hugs and the kisses, the hits and the misses.